Good day. Today I want to talk to you about the right way to do charitable giving in your organization or company. Hey, how you doing? My name is Matthew Ewell from Leading with Nice, where we want to help you inspire others, build loyalty, and get results. Now, this video today is inspired by a recent podcast guest on the Leading with Nice interview series, Richard Walsh. He's the author of Escape the Ownership Prison, and he had lots of great things to say, so definitely check out the podcast. We'll link it in the description below. But here's one thing that stuck with me. I just spoke with him earlier this week, and I can't get it out of my mind. And he talked not necessarily about how this benefits his company, but he said a few important things that I think probably are maybe not obvious to him, but he knows it intrinsically. And we were speaking about your organization, your company, and its charitable giving habits. Now, a lot of companies do some sort of charitable giving. When I was on the board of directors for a local food bank, we had several organizations come with their team and they'd help out for the day. Sometimes they would come with a cash donation as well, which was always beneficial, but often they just wanted to get the team together, do some team building, and put together like a great day at the food bank. And I see this also with another nonprofit down the street from me. You often see, a freshly painted room or some other, there's new sod has been laid or something. However, stop doing that. Stop it. There's lots of reasons. The first is there's actually a tremendous cost on the nonprofit when you bring your organization to do this charitable giving. At the food bank, we had to ask more than 2/3 of our regular volunteers to stay home that day. We just didn't have the physical room. And also, it took us longer to do the work because, of course, we're training and retraining. And really, we had a great operation. We didn't really need volunteer help in that capacity. But here's what Richard talked about. He said, he really believes in generosity from an organizational standpoint. And, there's lots of data that shows when your organization is intentionally generous with their time and money, lots of things happen. The one fascinating stat is that employees who work for organizations where the management has a generous ethos, they say it actually lessens the age gap that they feel, if there is an age gap between senior management and entry-level positions. They feel that they're closer together in age. They share a bond that is really something magical, because when you feel closer to management, you're more likely to quickly feel co-ownership of ideas, which, as we know, co-ownership trumps buy-in any day of the week. But regardless, one thing that Richard suggested doing, and I love this idea, and you should start doing it today, is ask your employees, where do they want to give? Where do they give? What are they already doing? Is it maybe their son or daughter's sports team that they volunteer and help out on the board? Maybe it's Girl Guides or Boy Scout troop. Maybe it is at a hospice or with their place of worship. Who knows? But by asking his employees, where they give, and then being, okay, well, we love you as an employee, and we're going to back up your passion, and just writing that check. And Richard comes from a contractor background, so there's probably lots of ways they could help with infrastructure and physical labor and work. But this is what he did, and he said it had great response from the employees. Like, the connectedness they felt to the organization was just tremendous. So try this year. Instead of just going with your normal partnership or getting everybody on a bus and going to plant trees for a day, ask your employees, like, what specifically do they support, and then write that check. Maybe if you have a lot of employees, maybe it's several small checks. If you're still going to do a large activation, do that, but do it for other reasons. Do it because you're trying to align your organization in a values way. There's nothing wrong with that. Do both. But to really impact how your employees see you in the organization, ask them, what would they give money to? And then support them in that. For more on this topic, visit leadingwithnice.com. I look forward to speaking to you next time.